Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here today to share my views on how we can amplify the success with learning. So let's see where we are today in terms of women in technology. If you see, today, about 35% of the people in tech force are women. And if you compare with where we were in the beginning of the century, we were at 9%. So it's a good progress. Yes, we know more needs to be done, but it's a solid progress since then. But if you look at the tech leadership, we are less than 20%. So a lot more needs to be done in the leadership space. As women enter the workforce, things happen along the way. We just need to observe and talk about what women can do differently or what we should be encouraging and seeing so that we can see more number of leaders in the tech industry. So let's first take a look at a few of the leaders who have inspired me. If I think about my schooling, Marie Curie left a big impression on me. This is more than 100 years ago. With her passion for learning, she did what she wanted to do in the study of STEM, where not many women were there. But think about it, more than 100 years ago, and still now, she's the only one who achieved and has 2 Nobel Prize in 2 different scientific fields, right? And come to the more recent times, one who really impresses me, Meg Whitman, especially during her role from 1998 to 2008. She was a CEO of eBay, took the company as a startup from 4 billion revenue to 8 billion revenue. Also 30 employees to 15,000 employees, very driven. It suited the confidence that is needed to take a startup to be a really big company, to be a unicorn. And then look at Sheryl Sandberg. She is the co-CEO of Meta. She's not only, leading running one of the largest tech companies, but also she's written 2 books and has a good work-life balance, right? So when we look at these women, yes, they can do it. So can a lot many others who can join in and do it. So let's see, what does it really take? When you think about women in tech, the last thing you want to hear from anybody is, hey, that person was promoted because she's a woman. You don't ever want to hear that. You want to be there in the position because you deserve it, because you worked hard for it. So first and foremost, I would say you need to make sure that you have the skills that you need and you're performing at the level where it is needed in your current job. So I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I was doing well, rising in a company, but then I was ambitious and I wanted to do more. I had grown more on the programming side, but to grow in the company, I just needed to make sure I had an overall knowledge of information systems. So I did my master's when my children were in elementary school, took the time I didn't take a break, I was working full time, but we decided that, okay, I will not finish in 2 years, I'll take 3 years, but I'll do it part-time. And I wanted to make sure I get the skills I need. Today, it's a lot more easier. You don't have to go and enroll. You can, provided your situation allows it, but you can do bite-sized learning. You can go learn from many of the open universities. You can get certification. You can learn on the job. In Zurich itself, we have something called My Journey, where the roles and the skills are mapped. So you look at the role that you are in and you see the skills that are needed for doing this job really successfully. And if you see gaps, you can build a plan for yourself. So it is really important to make sure that you have the technical skills and you also have the soft skills to do your job. So if you are have been promoted to a manager or you become a leader, and then there are other skills that you need in terms of leadership, yes, keep you've got to figure out and see how you'll either learn on the job, or B, you just need to make sure that you are reaching out and getting help to build those skills. Next is, people say, oh, you know what, I'm doing my job really well. I come to office, my result speaks for itself, but what I don't have is I don't have a mentor, right? So think about this. Some people reach out to the senior most person they know within the organization, and they expect that senior most person to find time for them, and so that they could go and tell them all about what they do and get advice from them. It doesn't really work that way. So when you are looking for a mentor, you want to make sure that you are looking for a very specific help, right? You've done your assessment, you're building a skill, and then you need help in very specific area. You reach out to the person and ask for very specific feedback. Because think about, in an organization, it's a pyramid structure, and one person, a senior manager, senior person could be approached by many, many people, and they are not going to be able to do justice to their own job by mentoring many, many of those folks. But if there is a very specific feedback you're looking for, I'll give an example. I had been promoted to a director. I needed to give a lot of, presentations. I wasn't very comfortable at it. I recorded myself giving a presentation, and I approached one of the leaders and asked them, "Hey, I have this presentation. Could you give me feedback?" And all she did was 15 minutes with me. She looked at my presentation, gave me feedback, and when somebody's giving that feedback live to you, it's way more powerful. So I got a few things that I was doing really well. I wanted to make sure I continue doing them. Then she asked me to work on a couple other things. So be very specific on what you need. And also, it doesn't have to be somebody senior within your own organization. You can go out. If you go for a conference, you meet somebody, you can look for mentorship from them. You can look at your business partners. In fact, they can be really good mentors, because many a times when we are in technology, we just get into the technology jargon. But if you have somebody in the business side and you take feedback from them, they will very clearly help you articulate the value that the technology is bringing. So if there is anything to do with outcomes or looking at the value, reaching out to your business partners would be absolutely the right way to do. So when I talk about mentorship, that people also talk about sponsorship. So those are two very different things, right? Mentorship is, you know something and you want some feedback on what do I do next, or should I do this or not. But sponsorship is when you are not in the room and your role is being discussed, or your future is being discussed, or your feedback is being discussed, right? So when you're not in the room, who's talking about you? The persons that you obviously, your manager, your leader is going to talk about you. But if there are other people in the room, have you networked with them? Have you ever had any interaction with them? That's another thing you've got to start looking at. Not many women do, or at least plan for it, right? Most of them come and tell me, and even I used to do the same thing, is, oh, I've got to come do the work. I've got to pick up my children. I got to go home on time. I don't have time to mingle and talk to people in the organization. You still need to eat. Find some time to eat with somebody else outside your organization. Have lunch with them. Um, and then again, when you're talking about your work, it doesn't have to be very boastful. You can just be a matter of factly the work that you did and the outcome that the company got, right? The benefit to the company or benefit to the users, benefit to your customers, anything. So it has to be more, there is an art to it, and maybe that's another skill that you would want to see how you can gain. So um, these are the things we need to make sure that we are making time for as we make time to do our work also, is figuring out a time and making sure that you're talking about your work and it is known maybe outside your direct organization. Now, you've assessed your skills, you've spoken to the mentor, you've made sure you're networking, but then there are certain skills you still feel that you need to improve. How do you do it? You have to build a very solid plan, right? You can build a plan by saying, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be more aware of what's going on in the industry because AI is changing so much. I want to make sure I take a class, especially I had so much fun with ChatGPT, but I want to see how I can use Gen AI. Maybe I'll take a course, but then make sure that you're following through it and you're completing it, and then you're finding a way that you can apply it. Many a times you could learn something, but if you don't apply it, then it doesn't stick in your head, right? So we just need to make sure that you have built a plan where you would not just learn a skill, but you'll apply a skill. Within Zurich, we have a great plan called My 70% Journey. It is a provision where after you finish a class or finish a course, if you want to work in that area, you can go and apply for any openings, and then you may choose to do for a portion of your time and use those new skills. And if you really like and enjoy them, in future, if something opens up, it gives you an ability, it will give you the experience, and you would have tested it and you know that this is something you want to do later and you can apply for those jobs. So look for those type of opportunities so that, yes, I'm not only building my skill that I need today, but I'm also building and I'm applying those skills, what I want to do in future. So building that plan is super important. Many a times when we build a plan, it's very uncomfortable to see how I'm going to apply it. So you've got to figure out and see how you can get comfortable being uncomfortable when you are learning anything new. Try doing those things in your personal life too. I'll just give you an example. I moved to Zurich about a year and a half ago, and I'm now learning German. Ich lerne Deutsch. Ich kann im Restaurant auf Deutsch Essen bestellen. Ich lerne jetzt Fahrkarten kaufen. So it is fun. I am I'm learning German, I'm applying it as I go out in my personal life. I'm having fun with it. People correct me at times. It's not right all the time. I'm never going to get it right the first time, but people, I make friends in restaurant when I ask and people correct me. So that's good. So when you are learning, it's uncomfortable, but make it fun too. So with this, my key takeaways would be make sure you know what your goal is. What's your ambition? What do you really want to do? Write it down. Tell others, because when you tell others, it's a commitment that you've made. And they will remind you if you are not working towards it. So write down your goal, assess the gaps, find out what you need to learn, figure out a way that you're going to do it, plan it, and then get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So if there is one thing that you want to take away from this, is make sure that you are learning to learn. Thank you.